All right, enough of that horse shit. Welcome back to the Cover to Cover Show, Episode 1, Season 2. Nothing shocking. Guys, this freaking album.
What are you feeling about it? Are you shocked about it or?
No, it's just so freaking beautiful. All right. As always, my co-host, highly a comic bro, joining us, Conquistador Javi, and our guest tonight, Jim Boatright. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Thank you for
I'm excited.
The invitation.
I'm excited. You know, there's one thing I love, and that's music. So I'm very happy to be here, and I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely.
With your new backdrop, the new
backdrop.
Hailey has got new lights.
What's wrong?
Yeah, I got my piano and my guitar. That's all, and my comics. That's all I need. I'm good to go. I'm set.
Maybe someday I'll have my room built in probably 25 years.
Gotta get up.
We got Stay Puff.
What's up, Sean?
And Rolly in the chat.
What's going on, guys?
All right. Yeah, this album. I've been listening to this album almost nonstop for the last 2 months.
Really?
I can't.
We picked it early. We picked we picked this album, like you said, probably like a month ago, right?
Yeah.
So we've had some time to, I guess, dive into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I said to Alexa one day upstairs, I was like, play Nothing Shocking. And lo and behold, she had it on there. I was like, oh, because otherwise I'd had to dig through the boxes to get to it.
I know the feeling on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first time I've heard Jane's Addiction since I was in high school, man. So when y'all said this, I'm like, okay, it's been a long time since I heard this, you know, and I didn't realize this particular album. I did not realize that it was released in '88, you know.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I didn't start hearing Jane's Addiction until like early mid 90s, you know, like 93, 94, especially 94. Because when I was a kid, I used to have the Woodstock '94 soundtrack.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And Perry Farrell had, I guess, his side band, Porno for Pyros. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how I got introduced to Jane's Addiction. On top of, you know, MTV, you know, Been Caught Stealing was played like every 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like a blast from the past listening to Jane's Addiction, because like I said, it's been at least 25 years or so since I've heard me some Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
Did you know this album?
No, I didn't know this album, man. I mean, I've heard Jane Says.
Yeah.
That's the only song I know. There's another song that I know about.
The
it's
Mountain
not off of this album.
The Mountain song I've heard before.
But just because it used to play on our radio station, and that's how I knew Jane's Addiction. But I had never heard of this album. And I know Dave Navarro. I guess he became popular, right? Got like that tattoo show or something like that.
Ink Master. Yeah.
But I knew him because when Red Hot Chili Peppers were together, and then John Frusciante left the band.
Mm-hmm.
Got Dave Navarro. Yeah. They got Dave Navarro to do the guitar for that one album, One Hot Minute, and I really, really like that album. Like, I don't know.
But he did not fit with them.
No,
he didn't fit with them. No. But I really like that album. Like.
But he didn't fit with them. It wasn't Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No, it wasn't the same. But John Frusciante was also doing a lot of weird stuff back then. Yeah. Locking himself up in a room and writing and spending money on, John Frusciante. That's another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I know Dave Navarro, and because of that, that's how I know Jane's Addiction, I guess, a little bit more. But I never listened to this album.
Dave Navarro didn't fit with Jane's Addiction, but Flea, I mean, he didn't fit with Red Hot Chili Peppers, but Flea fit with Jane's Addiction. He fit right in.
Did he do that?
Yeah, he did a lot with Jane's Addiction. I think because Steve Avery left, the bassist.
Oh, no way! I didn't know that.
He came in and he toured with them. I think he did some recording, but he was more like a tour and stuff like that. I got to see them actually. I saw them once with Flea, and it was pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, dude, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Lollapalooza.
No, I did not see them at Lollapalooza. Okay, I guess I know. Very fair. I didn't. Okay, I'll tell you my story with Jane's Addiction. I freaking adored their first three albums. And this is like their first studio album. The first one was like, I guess, E or something like that. And that one's fantastic. But this album came out the year I graduated high school, but I didn't find this until like 91, 92, because I kept on hearing, I used to go to this industrial club down in Miami Beach, and they used to always play Don't Stop, Stop. They used to play Stop, the first song off of Ritual the Habitual, and they used to play that in the club, and I'm like, damn, what is this? This sounds freaking crazy. Everybody goes nuts, and I would love it when it was on. And I found out who it was, Jane's Addiction, and then I started going back and listening to all their albums, and I just fell in love. So when they toured with Lollapalooza, I didn't know who they were in '91, because that was supposed to be a Jane's Addiction, festival. So I got them. I went to Lollapalooza in '92 and '93, but they weren't on the bill, so I never got to see them with that. I saw them after they broke up, and I've seen them maybe like 6 times after that. So,
wow.
Yeah, I freaking love them. Donnie, you say the last 2 months, this is all I heard for like 3 or 4 years. I would just rotate the albums.
Yeah.
23 albums, and it was just I mean, I did a lot of stuff listening to these albums. A lot of stuff. I mean, I did a lot of stuff with these 3 albums. I'm talking about a lot of stuff. Wow, this was like a soundtrack of my early 20s.
Nice. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, right. I freaking love it.
My earliest recollection of Jane's Addiction was that damn weird ass freaking video for Don't Get Caught Stealing.
Yeah.
Been caught stealing, yeah.
What the frick? And I didn't hear anything beyond that until I got to college and during the download era.
Yeah.
I downloaded some songs from this album, like Jane Says and Mountain Song. There was another one. I can't think of which one it was. Might have been Ocean Size. I'm not sure. But years later, I bought the album. I think it was after my wife and I were married. I actually bought the physical album, and I played it in pretty heavy rotation then, and loved it. But this is why I wanted to do this show, because it gives me a chance not just to be introduced to new albums, but reintroduced to old albums.
Yeah.
Because this was the first time I listened to it, especially this much, in probably 10 years. So
I know exactly what you're saying on that, because I pulled down. I have a big bin full of all kinds of CDs and stuff that I've, accumulated over the years. And I took them from the garage. I took them right in the little boat's room. I said, "Enjoy."
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like going through, and I'm going through some of the albums, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot I even had that album. I need to listen to put that one aside. So I know what you're saying. There were some albums I forgot I had, and like, oh, I used to love that album. I need to listen to that,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely cool for sure.
That's awesome.
All right. This is, as Raul said, this is their second album. It's their debut studio album, because the first album was like an EP mixed with live stuff. It's kind of like I believe Primus did the same thing. Their first album was a bunch of different live stuff. But it was released in August of 1988, and I was 6.
I was 7.
El Dorado Studios in LA, California.
6?
Yeah.
6?
6.
Dude, I don't feel that old, dude.
I said I was 7.
Yeah, right.
I don't say anything, Javi. Just stay quiet.
I'm not saying anything. I'm keeping my mouth shut.
You'll be there
released on Warner Brothers labels and produced by Dave Jerden and Perry Farrell, who of course is the lead singer. 3 singles, probably 3 of the most prominent songs on the album: Jane Says Mountain Song and Ocean Size, and probably, I don't want to say 3 of the best songs, because this is one of those cover to cover albums where it's just phenomenal cover to cover.
Yeah, like I said, I was listening to this. I was telling you guys, earlier, I listened to this album this morning while yard selling, and it's just like, it's such a great album just to chill and just go with the flow. You got a nice backdrop music going on, and man, it was nice cruising around listening to it. Like I said, I ain't heard it in a long time, so actually, like, cruising the boulevard, listening to some old music, I felt like a high schooler again.
Yeah. It's an out and out jam albums.
Yeah, man.
Just solid jam.
It takes you for a wild ride. There's a lot of, like, for some reason you associate Jane's Addiction with like grunge, right? I don't know. For some reason that's how it was for me. But they're not. They are, but they're not. I guess it's weird, right?
Yeah, some sort of alternative. I wouldn't call it necessarily grunge, but it is some alternative rock. Listening to Perry Farrell sing, I hear a lot of similarities between his voice and Shannon Hoon from Blind Melon.
Okay.
And that was all around the same time frame,
right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, it's not in your face like, I don't know, like a lot of people who don't listen to Jane's Addiction, they might see it and they might think like, oh, like, this is metal or this is, grunge or whatever, but it's like the songs are all kind of different. Like,
yeah,
they're rock. It's definitely like that unique. They have like that weird, unique alternative sound.
It's drinking music, man. I call that drinking music, because it's like you have some buddies over, you have a little party or something going on, something like that's what you want to put on,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes up and down. Like,
up and down, so you ain't getting,
You're not getting a blast. They hit you in waves.
Yeah.
And that's what I like.
Yeah, there's some heavy parts, yeah.
Like the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so by the time Jane Says come around, that's when the party's everybody kind of settled down, That buzz kicked in.
That's true, yeah.
The thing that kept coming to my mind was that Jane's Addiction is a band that is schooled in the art of Frank Zappa and other creative guys like Frank. It's just that jam, Grateful Dead, all that stuff from way back. And I thought they took what Frank was doing and all those other guys and took it to a little bit of a next level type thing. Along with other contemporaries like but Jim mentioned the Porno for Pyros and who's the other one? The Butthole Surfers.
Yeah, the Butthole Surfers. Yeah, they're great, man.
I forgot all about them until I heard a song on the radio one day a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh my God.
That takes me back to high school as well.
They're crazy.
There's a little Led Zeppelin in them.
Yeah.
To me, there is. And I've heard people say that before, and I see it.
Yeah, they're kind of like the high-pitched vocals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you can hear it a little bit in the drums too. I mean, if you really listen to the drums, you can hear it.
Perkins that guy's amazing.
Yeah.
And the guy that doesn't get credit on this band is Steve Avery, the bassist.
Yeah. He wrote a pile of music.
He is phenomenal, and that guy does not. Once he left the band, they weren't the same band.
Yeah.
He was a driving force with them.
Kind of like Didi Ramone.
Yeah.
Didi Ramone, he wrote a lot of the Ramone stuff and stuff like that when he left. You know, it's kind of the same thing.
It's not the same. It's just not the same. You brought up Porno for Pyros. I got to see them in concert right after Jane's Addiction. We broke them off and all that. I got to see Porno for Pyros. And, bro, I like that album with Porno for Pyros, but he did not play one freaking Jane's Addiction song at the concert. You don't know how pissed off everybody.
Well, why though? It's not a
because you would figure, you play some other
tribute or something. Yeah, maybe I don't know. Yeah,
they played the album. It's not the long. It was a short show, and that was it. The show was done, and everybody was like stunned. Are you serious? You're not even gonna throw in one song of Jane's Addiction? Because Perkins was the drummer on Porno for Pyro, so you figured, you had a check. Bro, I was so freaking pissed off that night.
Now, why is that? As far as when they broke up, was it on bad cause or what? Like, why did they break up?
They had, but I think Perry broke them up because then he was going with the whole Lollapalooza thing, and he was turning that into a thing, and it was big, and I think he just wanted to end it on a high note. That's what he said, but there was tension. If you guys were going to get into, some of the album and all that, there was tension started with this album.
Yeah.
And I don't think that ever went away. And it was especially, that's Steve Avery left. And I think he came back later at a future album. I think they did I think it's called Supercharger. They did some music for Howard Stern's movie. I think they made the I forget. I think it's Supercharger or something like that.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I kind of left them after that because they weren't just the same. But the magic they had in those first three albums, bro, you could just put that first album has some jams, and nobody ever talks about Jane's Addiction. So I was surprised Donnie knew it. I knew you knew it. I didn't think Javi did because they're not really talked about. They're
right.
Not at all. Nobody brings up.
I wasn't familiar when you said the name of the album. I'm not familiar with Jane's Addictions that much, but when I looked up the album, I automatically knew that album cover. I remember seeing that album cover back in the day, and so I'm like, oh, okay, and this is the album that Jane says on it. And I definitely knew that because they played that on the radio all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, that's the track that I just cannot. That I've just done hearing, it's kind of, we had that kind of like on another
overplayed.
show.
Yeah.
Like I hear it, it came out a few years late after on another album, like it was like a compilation thing, and they do the steel drums at the beginning. Have you guys heard the version? And it bass mix, and it was like different, and so that was cool. But I almost
Yeah,
got
that's a live version, isn't it?
that's a live version, right?
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I was used to.
That was with that tour that I saw Fleet with them. That's when they did that, and I almost got the tattoo of this cover on. I almost put that, and I was deep, and I was I blood poured out. Jane's Addiction blood poured out. I was so into this band. And then I was gonna get the just Jane's Addiction. I was gonna get that tattooed on my back. And the thing is, I didn't. And you know what's cool? What's weird? My second wife's name is Jane. So go figure, right? I married a Jane. So it's kind of. I wish I would have got that tattoo back in the day, and then I would have met her. Hey, I know you. I already.
Yeah, that might have chased her away.
Yeah.
This guy's freaking weird.
He already got my name on his back, and I just met him. You know what's going on?
Man, that's what I love about you, man. I never would have took you as a Jane's Addiction fan. I love learning. I love learning you guys all the time. I find out new stuff all the time. It's great.
I was big into Jane's Addiction. I'll tell some other stories. I cried with Addiction. I got so emotional at a concert, and I just cried. I was flying high, but it just got to me in an emotional way, and it's the only time I think I've ever cried at a concert, because it just hit me like, fuck, I love this. Fuck, this band's meant so much to me. You know, it's nuts. It's crazy. Okay, man, I'm rambling.
That's awesome, man.
That's our musical tastes are very similar, and it's kind of like Dark Side's Omega Beam. It's like
Right. It goes all over the place, right?
It's crazy, bro. It's nuts. It's nuts. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into the cover. Let's do it. Can you do it? Are you gonna?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can show it. Yeah. It's an album cover, man.
we blasted up there for a minute or so, and then
I always knew Jane's Addiction. Always knew Jane's Addiction. I've always knew of them. I just never got into them. But like what Boat said, I always saw this album cover. At like FYE or like the record shop.
Such an awesome cover.
I always liked the little background here.
Oh my God, Donnie, that's what I was about to say, bro. That's just like one of those rugs you find at IKEA, you know? I love that touch on this album.
That Jersey cow cowhide background.
I love that touch. I love that touch. Buenas adicción.
Hello, Nick.
TV's got them images. Hell yeah. I just love that touch.
Now, the way I understand it is that Perry made the cast. These are not actual women. Right. He made the cast of these Siamese twins out of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he had I can't remember the person's name that did the plaster cast. But then they made the hair out of like pipe cleaners and stuff like that, and
it's nuts.
It's just weird. It's just crazy.
I never knew they weren't real. I figured it was one woman with like a mirrored image,
No.
Yeah. And I never noticed it before until I was looking at it, but the rocking chair rocks from side to side instead of back and forth. It pointed that out in that article, and I was like, "Oh wow!"
And you've seen it like a million times, right? And you just
never noticed that, yeah.
And it has a 1920s feel, the woman.
Right.
Stuff. It has a 1920s feel to it.
Definitely. It's shocking. It's different.
Definitely a cool cover.
It said that 9 of 11 record store chains refused to cover to carry the album.
And it's,
Those that did wrapped it in brown paper bag.
Yeah.
it happened with their second album right after this as well. And then for Ritual the Habitual, that was banned too as well. And then I think they put it like on a white album. Just they changed it for some retailers. I think Walmart wouldn't carry it until they changed it.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting. The one article that I read had brought up the fact that about Appetite for Destruction and the issues that they ran into, and they had to change because their original album cover was basically a grotesque thing, and that's how they ended up with the cross on there and the skulls, because the stores wouldn't carry it with that cover.
And that became iconic as well.
Yeah.
That's also
Yeah.
the cross.
Nothing's shocking.
Nothing.
I mean, it fits the album title for sure, right? It's kind of a play on words, or
Right. I love how it's a title track without being a title track, because
Right.
they pulled the title out of somewhere else in the song.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah, it's a song that Nick just admitted. TV's got them images. TV's got them all. I think shot.
do you want to talk about who Ted is?
I don't remember, actually. I don't remember.
We're talking about Ted Bundy.
Yeah, that's what I thought, right? Because in the beginning they played that news clip of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he never admitted anything. Yeah,
Right. And the reason they did that is because he was getting ready to be executed, and when they wrote the song. And
yeah, I didn't remember that. I didn't remember that. I do remember that they used this in Natural Born Killers. And when I saw Natural Born Killers at the theater, and then they started playing that song, Ted's Just a Minute, I went bonkers at the theater. I was like, oh, dude, they're using things.
Yeah.
Nothing shocking. Good.
That's a badass song.
yeah,
I love the jam at the end. And we were speaking of like the Led Zeppelin influence right at the end, where the drums kick in and there's like that double bass or that bass drum beat going. Oh man, that's a sick jam at the end of that song.
And it's just a mellow. It's like one of those roller coaster songs. It's just it's real slow, and then it kicks in at the end. It's just badass.
It's a 7-minute long song, so yeah, it definitely takes you for a ride.
Oh, so good. Yeah. Freaking crazy.
Yeah, I didn't get to pull up to the lyrics for that. Is he saying sex and violence?
I'll put it up because I got the lyrics right here.
Okay.
I was looking at all their lyrics. Let me see.
doesn't it start out as sex and violence, and then by the end it's sex is violence?
Sex is, I think it says, sex is violent or violence.
Yeah.
Sex is violent. Sex is violent. And let me see.
When I heard him say that a couple of times, first thing I thought was not the casualties, but shoot, I can't remember. But anyways, they have a song called "Sex and Violence," and that's kind of the whole song is just them saying that sex and violence, sex.
Yeah, dude. Great. That's a great thing.
But it there's a, what am I looking for? There's definitely a meaning to that, because anymore it used to be just the slightest thing when taboo. You know, you couldn't. But now anymore, there's nothing that's shocking anymore.
No.
Yeah, not no more.
I suppose we can thank people like Frank Zappa and Alice Cooper for that kind of stuff, but and to a larger extent, people like Romero and even the porn industry, because it's just out there and it's in our face, and
especially when you start getting into the death metal era. Some of those album covers, like Butchered at Birth, Cannibal Corpse, Eaten Back to Life, and
that's terrible.
Deicide. And, I mean, yeah. Once you get to that point, you ain't gonna outdo any of that.
No.
There was nothing. Everything's shocking. It's nothing shocking. It's in our face now.
Yeah.
And for those guys, it became all about outdoing the other guy.
Yeah.
It's all about shock.
Especially with Deicide and Cannibal Corpse. I mean, it's like those guys were doing battle with each other.
Yeah.
Rolling Stone had this on their 500.
The what?
And Rolling Stone did have this on their 500 greatest albums.
Yeah. What is it? 300, number 312?
312.
Yeah.
So that was good to see.
I wanted to go back to what you said earlier, Raul, about Avery. They said some of the songs came from Eric's bass lines, some from guitar, and some from Perry, and some from the drum riffs. Some just came from freeform jams. So they were just incorporating everything that they could think of, it seems, into it. And Avery wrote several songs, including Mountain Song, Had a Dad, Jane Says, and Summertime Rolls. And he would create the concepts that Perry Farrell would create the lyrics for. And Had a Dad dealt with Avery discovering he had a different biological father, which, I mean, all these songs have deeper meanings, and that's definitely a deep meaning.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to learn what age he found that out. That's shocking, when you find something like that out, thinking your father is your father, now find out that he's not. That's gotta be fun. Yeah, and you were saying about the songwriting. I think I read that also today, that Perry wanted to take a lot of credit. And I think that's when all the problems started, right off the pretty fast into their careers. I think he wanted to take like 62% and leave like 12% for the other guys, and that didn't sit well, which is understandable. But Perry's that pretty much fits Perry's track record. He's a douche.
Dude, but like, so in that, like, the way that I read it, right? The way that I read it was like exactly what you said, right? You're let's say all four of us are in a band, right? And then I'm just like, out of nowhere, imagine out of nowhere, you're in the middle of writing this record, or you're in the middle of recording, I guess, coming up with the record, whatever. You have a deal with Warner Brothers. This guy comes up to you and he says, "Hey, I want 50%, because I'm writing the lyrics. Plus, I want a cut for writing the music." And then the other three guys are just there like, what? Like,
yeah.
Say again? Excuse me?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Perry's not a musician. He's a singer. He doesn't play. He's a horrible. He barely knows how to play a guitar. He's a front man, and he's a lyric, and he's a showman.
Yeah.
But he's, it's.
And then the sad thing is we hear this all the time
Yes.
about, and a lot of times it's a freaking singer that's causing the bullshit.
It's almost always the singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how that's how it is, though. That's how it is. Because you're the front man, you're the face, right?
Yeah.
And he was really the face of the band,
He was.
you know?
He was. He was the out there. He was the promoter. He was, he started Lollapalooza. He was the promoter. He was always trying to, keep them in the forefront,
Yeah.
So, but still, it's still gonna shock you.
Yeah.
That must have been shocking.
Yeah, not every band can be like a Rush or ZZ Top, where the members all have an equal stake.
There's a lot of egos.
Yeah.
There's a lot of egos. Harry's got a big ego. He's got a big ego.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so when that happened, the band were, like they were gonna leave, right? And they were gonna pretty much break up. There was gonna be no album, and then I guess Warner Brothers had to hold an emergency meeting.
Intervention. They had an intervention.
Yeah, but the emergency meeting was just like, hey, you guys better make this fucking album, or like, because Perry got what he got. He got what he asked for.
Yeah.
He got that 62.5% royalties, and the others just get 12.5, I think, because it's like it has to be split 3 ways between just the musicians.
That's insane to me. I mean, I understand bands, that's their goal, is to make it big, but I don't know.
Getting fucked right off the bat.
Yeah, by somebody who's in the band. It ain't like a manager or the record label screwing you. It's the damn actual band member.
Yeah.
That's just insane to me.
It is.
That's kind of like another example of a bandmate screwing you over is the Scorpions. They had a bandmate who had been with them for years, and it turns out he's doing shady shit behind the scenes, and it's like, what the hell? I think he was embezzling. Yeah.
Yeah.
And which band member was that?
Was he the bassist at the time?
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous.
But just think.
What's up? Oh, thanks for hanging out, man. He likes this album.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Nick.
So we're gonna go down through. We don't have to go through every song, but are we gonna look at the track list?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I don't know if I can bring it up because it's going to be. I don't need that anymore. Let me try to.
I mean, Dave Navarro, he hit it off, I guess, but I don't know what the other 2 members of.
Maybe kind of like. I don't know what he's done. Perkins has done some other stuff. He's an excellent. He's more out there. He's got a lot of videos on YouTube about him drumming, doing appearances like at record shops. He rocks. He's a fucking phenomenal drummer.
So it pretty much sounded like Perry was all about the money, because think about it. If he was promoting and doing the whole Lollapalooza thing, think of how much money he was getting from that.
He's a straight up businessman. Also, the beginning of this band, drugs had like a huge heroin, and they were all in that scene. And I think the girl that was the inspiration for James was like I don't know if she was. I forget the story. I've read it a few times.
Like an ex-girlfriend of his that OD'd.
Yeah. And so there was a lot. If you see the early videos, bro, you just look at them and it's like, God. They're early, like club scene videos and all that. They were just you could see they were like one step away from just freaking self-destructing.
Yeah.
They were nuts. Let's do the songs.
But he became sober during this time.
Yeah.
He became sober during this time, so he had to fucking get a high from somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah.
And
No, but even Dave Navarro, man, his childhood was. I don't know if you guys know about his childhood. His childhood, I think the story goes that he saw like his mom murdered in front of him by a boyfriend.
Wow.
His childhood was. He's made it, He's made it, and he's doing good for himself. But he went through a lot of shit.
Yeah, I just read too that his mother committed suicide.
Yeah, yeah. That was.
He actually used to live here in Miami, on Miami Beach. I think he was born in New York. Like a lot of people, a lot of New York dudes that he came down here and just down home for a while. He was growing up, and I think that's when they went to when he moved to.
Let me find that article. I read an article earlier that had talked about Perry's mother.
you see it right there. It says all lyrics are written by Perry Farrell. All music is composed by Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
And Perry is 1/4 of Jane's Addiction. So.
Yeah, and his name very. It's a play on words, peripheral. It's not, it's not. I think his name is Perry. I don't remember, but he's got a different last name. And he just went with peripheral. Oh my God! I could have showed something. Give me a second. Okay, go ahead. You guys can go. Just gonna turn on. I'll be listening.
Now here's a question: what's the backstory? Anybody know the backstory of the name Jane's Addiction? Then he has a song called Jane Says. Who's Jane?
Or it was Go ahead.
Yeah, Jane was an ex girlfriend of I believe Perry's.
Okay.
And she had OD'd, and that was the basis behind the name. Jane Says, I'm not sure what. There it is. The cover. It was Perry's girlfriend Casey Nicole is who the cast was made from to make the Siamese twins. It says, let's see, despite the fact that the album is sitting comfortably as a platinum release at the time, this all resulted in rather modest first-year sales figures of around 200,000 copies, which I believe they're pointing to the album cover and all the distrust in selling it and all that stuff.
It was a song about, I guess like one of the lyrics, is I'm gonna kick it tomorrow.
Dude,
I'm gonna kick it tomorrow.
I just went looking for this. You want to make me take a second, Donnie? I just went looking for this. I started in a box. I started from the back to the front, and guess what? It's the first. It was the first book in the box, but it's the Jane's Addiction. Remember when they came up with the comic book?
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
So this is like in here. It says their history. So I might just be able to read this, and we'll know everything. Pretty freaking cool. So
That's awesome.
Dude, that's badass, man.
I forgot I had this, and I was like, shit, I got the comic book.
I found it was.
So in here, it's like, they got the different.
The name was in honor of Farrell's housemate, Jane Bainter, whose heroin addiction proved to be a twisted source of inspiration.
It's like the whole history retold. So. Oh, Oh, dude, I forgot I had this.
I think that's badass.
Yeah, it is. I've had it forever, man. I've had it forever.
Stuck
So
up.
Gene, yeah, show off the comic book more, man.
Since I'm here, right? But it's just, it shows how they got signed and
Is it
it's not the best, man, but they came out with like a Metallica for this.
Is there anything on the back cover?
It's just
Oh, it's just advertising.
it's an ad for other comics that they were doing. Wayne Gretzky scored, the Beatles.
The Beatles experience.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
You guys don't remember? No, you guys don't put it. Yeah, they came up with like some rock album, and it's like their origin. Shit, I forgot.
So yeah, Jane Says is about his ex-girlfriend, and I guess the name Jane's Addiction comes from his housemate.
Right.
So all right, Hylia, what's your favorite song off the album?
I can't say that. I can't say what song. I forever thought that Up the Beach was Oceanside because they kind of like flow into each other.
Yeah.
I can't hear Oceanside without hearing Up the Beach. It's just a cool little music introduction, and it just flows into Oceanside. And then when Oceanside starts, it just oh, and it just rocks. So I love Oceanside. I love to just admit it. Actually, the song that I was first listening to a lot was "Standing in the Shower Thinking," but I kind of it's more of the most poppy,
Yeah.
song, I guess. I was standing in the shower thinking about what things. Anyway, it's gotta be. I can't. It's Oceanside. I'm sorry. Ted Just Admitted, Summertime Rolls, and Mountain Song. Those are my 4 favorites. I can't tell you which one of those I like more than the other because I just adore those 4. And then I love all the other ones. But those 4 are, I adore those songs. I do not get tired of those 4 songs. I hope that answers your question.
What are you thinking, Bo?
Definitely Mountain Song. That one's my favorite.
The rocker. Rocks.
That one, every time he says "coming down the mountain," man, I was like, that's badass, man. I love it.
What are you thinking, Donnie?
I'm like Hialeah. It's tough. But Mountain Song is, I'm gonna say Mountain Song is probably my favorite. But a close second is Standing in the Shower Thinking, because I don't know about you guys, but I have done that, not pissing on myself, but I have done that many times. Just stood, I got cleaned up and I was just standing there.
Yeah.
And the water is fucking hot.
It's such a simple song, like simple, I guess, not message, but like, standing in the shower thinking, everybody does it,
Yeah.
Like everybody does it. So I guess it's like a smart idea. I don't know.
Especially if you've got a lot on your mind. And
Yeah.
And I guess in a way that's probably what the song's about.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you get stuck in life and everything that you do and go through in life, and that's just that moment for you to sit there and process everything.
And everybody does it. Everybody does it. It's like, what's going on? Like when you're going through, just standing in, bro, how am I gonna get out of this?
Yeah.
We gotta need water. Good.
And I think because too, as far as if you're talking in that aspect, when you're taking a shower, you're relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
It's quiet. It's just you. You know. So I guess that's why the thinking comes along in the shower. I guess. I mean that's me personally. Especially if you got a bunch of kids running around. That's your time. That's your time away from kids, fighting, arguing, everything. And it's a little relaxation with the hot water, and I can get behind that.
What about you, Javi?
I think it's Ted Just Admit It. I think it's that one. I also really like Idiot's Rule, though.
Yeah.
That's a fun song. I like that song.
That is a really fun song.
Staying in the Shower, of course, that's a great song. I do like Jane Says. I do like that song.
I do too. I just heard
it's overplayed.
Yeah, it burned out on it.
Yeah.
Especially when, like me, I only know him for Mountain Song, Jane Says, and Been Caught Stealing. So
yeah,
and Jane Says they still play that on the radio. So 25, 30 plus years of hearing the same song, over and over, it does get old a little.
And I'm not going to discount Pigs and Zen either. That's a great jam.
Yeah, that is a great jam. I was gonna say
great closer.
Yeah, it is. I like Thank You Boys. That's just like
it's a little It's
just
kind
a
of weird
class.
placement. It should be the last song, but it's
I
mean, I guess that's true. Jane's Addiction fashion.
But dude, Had a Dad is badass, man.
Yeah, that's a badass song too. Yeah.
Had a Dad, It's Strong. Oh.
It's so Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. He plays the trumpet on Idiot's Rule.
Yeah, they had a connection. They came from.
It sounds like that song Idiot's Rule sounds similar to that kind of Red Hot Chili Peppers late '80s sounds.
But think about it. Red Hot Chili Peppers, they came from the same clubs and all that. All the LA, we're all in the same circle, so they all knew each other.
Yeah, for sure. California, yep. This was recorded in El Dorado. This was recorded in LA.
The thing is, they came out a little bit before Nirvana and all those bands, and those bands they kind of got pushed with them, but they weren't part of that scene. They were more LA.
Right.
Bro, I've seen them maybe like 5 or 6 times. I actually went. The last time I saw them was like, oh shit, I got this too. Oh shit, so I got this too. This was from the last time I saw them, and it's been a while. It was 2012, and it was at the Fillmore. So I got this.
Oh, that's so sick, man.
It's like the little poster from the show.
That's awesome, man.
That was right before my birthday that year, and it was my wife, it was my kid, my 2 boys, and we marched in the pit together, which was great, and my wife had to leave. It was just too much for her. She had to see the show she heard the rest of the show from the lobby. So it was in a small place. It was at the Fillmore, and it was just freaking crazy. It was like 10 of us, and oh my god, it was just nuts. It was you wouldn't their mosh pit it gets crazy. You wouldn't think so, but it gets nuts.
I saw the date on there.
Moshing to Jane's Addiction back in 2012 to Hialeah Cramp Bro.
Yeah.
Dang, he went there with it.
How things change.
How things change. But you're still rocking out, man. You're still you know, you brought this album to cover to cover.
I've never shown this, so you guys didn't even know. I'm a freaking James fan, bro.
Yeah, man, I never
Yeah.
knew. That's, yeah, I mean, you're the one that picked the album. You're like,
You've been here, Javi, and you've never seen it, and it's right over my computer. I watched it. I see it all the time.
nice, nice.
I like
That's
I like
awesome, though.
I like the date. That's my wife's birthday. Yeah.
What was the date on it? May 10th?
May 18th. May 18th.
Oh, May 18th. My wife, May 12th.
But yeah, this album's definitely a hidden gem, you know, because it as good as it is, it only peaked at 103.
Yeah.
Which I think it deserved to reach farther than that, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. How do you think this album would stand up with, like, kids today, like teenagers and stuff today, though? Because for us, like for me, like I said, it's more nostalgia from, you know, hearing the band when I was younger, and going so long without hearing them, that it kind of brought me back to my youth.
I don't think, I mean, I think it would take them a while to get into it. I don't think there's a lot of music out there that sounds like this anymore.
I don't believe it. I don't believe so either.
Because there was such a, there was such a unrefined studio quality to the albums, right? It still sounds raw. It still sounds. They didn't do, I guess, too much production to it, or it's just like the way that the band sounds. It's just that not grungy, but yeah, like alternative kind of rock metal sound to it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't sound like. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I think like younger, like teenagers, they're not gonna get it. But like once they hit like college age, early 20s, mid 20s, and they have some lived experiences, they might start listening more to stuff like this. There's just like Javi said, there's a certain unrefined.
You know what song? You know what song they'll listen to? Is probably Jane Says.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's sad too, because there's a lot of great albums that get left in the dust because, you know, like we're in a changed time right now with kids and stuff like that, and they don't. To me, like the music standards now is like you have to search for good music, new music. You know, you can't rely on the radio or MTV anymore to find in good music. Like you literally have to search for good music.
The weird thing that I'm going along with that, the weird thing that I'm finding is bands like The Weeknd and MGMT, they're starting to have that 80s sound.
Yeah.
So I don't know if things might be starting to come back around. Circle, you know.
Like we're creeping into the 90s almost.
Almost, not quite, because guys are starting to wear mullets again. Girls are wearing the high-waisted 90s.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're there. I think you're about there. The high-waisted.
They already went through the second bell-bottom phase. So
bell-bottoms,
We'll see.
That was high school. You know, the girls were wearing bell-bottoms in high school when I was. I don't know. You know, they might come. You know, you might get a full circle. You know, stuff like that. But
we're gonna start wearing.
Man, that's why I get my kids, and I play them the stuff that I used to listen to. Stuff because I listen to a lot of stuff that a lot of bands and people that nobody's ever heard of.
Yeah,
so that's one thing I'm very proud to say that I do, and I try to do, is just introduce them to stuff they've never heard or will never hear, listening to radio or anything like that. I told my son when I was a kid, how I found out about other bands is I would read the thank yous in the CD slip or cassette tape, special thanks to, and they would list off other bands. I'm like, I go out, I see, I'll pick that up, or metal magazines or something,
Yeah.
You had to search. You had to search for music back then. Now, I mean, you have to also if you want to find good music.
Yeah. I remember Hit Parader. I used to Cream Hit Parader.
Yeah.
Those were like oh my god.
Yeah.
I found a lot of new bands from Hit Parader.
Yeah. Me too. I remember when Ozzy shaved his head. That was such a big fun. Oh my god, he had the cover. I think he was on Cream or Hit Parader.
Yeah.
But that's what I did. I pretty much went on. I read the special thanks, the band thanks so and so. I would go pick up that band, or I'll check it out. And sometimes I just did it on the fly. I'd see an album that would pique my interest.
That's what I did a lot. Yeah.
And just do a blind buy, and just hope that it was good. I got burned a few times, but a lot of times I found gold.
Mm-hmm.
I did that as well. I bought an album once by this band. Let me see if I can remember the name of the band. The New Automatic. Oh my god, New Automatic Daffodils something. And it wasn't the best music, but I freaking loved that album. The New Daffodils something. It was like almost Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all this shit. And they were from England, and the music was so out there, and I just adored it. I freaking adored it. And nobody's ever gonna know that album. Maybe we can do that album today.
We'll do that album here.
I have a similar album. The band, I think they made one album. They broke up. Nobody's ever heard of them. I found out about them because my cousin, the one who passed away, he was real big into motorcycle riding also. He drove down. Remember Billy Lane, the motorcycle guy here in Florida? He was a bike builder. He did the bike builds with like Jesse James during that time, Monster Garage and all that stuff.
Yeah, I recognize that name.
He ended up going to prison. He was from like Melbourne, I think. And my cousin went to his shop, and in his shop he had some CDs of a band called the Holy Rollin' Hellfires. And it's one of my favorite albums, man. It is so good. Ain't nobody ever heard of them. You can't find nothing on YouTube about them. It's like they never existed. So I'm assuming they're probably, maybe a local band or something. Yeah. But so good.
There's some local bands that I remember that they never made it. They made maybe it's just a CD, and it was so good, and they just never made it, so nobody had heard of it. That happens a lot.
Yeah. A lot. We got a band from up around here called Hybrid Ice, and they're like Styx, Journey, that kind of stuff. Really good. They did have one hit, and I believe Styx covered it at one point. But
wow,
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, they said they were the greatest unsigned band. So I don't know how true that is, but
yeah,
they still play around here. They're still pretty good.
There used to be a band here. They used to be called the Goods, and they actually, I saw Pro Jam, and they actually opened for Pro Jam for that show. It was like when Pro Jam was still coming. The album 10 had just dropped. They were just starting to get big. I saw them in a super small venue, and the Goods opened for them, and they were freaking phenomenal. But they just never made that jump. Just never made the jump. It's good. Have you guys heard other Jane's Addiction?
No,
I have not.
I highly suggest the first album. They do this. Oh my God! They do like a mashup of. Oh my God! What's the Velvet Underground song with they mix it with the Rolling Stones song, "Sympathy for the Devil." They do, and they mash it up together. Freaking phenomenal. That's on their first album. And then on Ritual the Habitual, you guys gotta listen to 3 Days.
3 days.
3 days. It's 11 minutes long. That song is fire. That's probably my favorite James Addiction song. 3 Days. I suggest it. That takes you on a roller coaster ride.
I gotta check that out.
And Classic Girl off that album as well. Beautiful song. Beautiful song.
I like those jams, man. I like those 11-minute songs because I don't know. They kind of tells a story in it, you know. And then like the music kind of flows into all these movements and all these directions. Like I like that. I dig that a lot.
Listen to 3 Days by them. It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's great. So good. Guys, thanks for listening to this album, man. I freaking
No, this was a great. I mean, I don't think I would have ever dived into listening to Jane's Addiction if it wasn't for this, you know.
You found a little passion. I got the comic book. I got the concert poster. I cried at one of their concerts.
So will there ever be a reunion?
They still can do reunions. Perry Farrell's like still weird as hell. His voice is shot though.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
His voice is gone. He can't hit the notes. You see the more recent performances, and his voice is just shot. It's no way. It's just he can't hit the notes. It's gone. But he's still a good frontman. They perform, but they're not the same. But if they toured, and I would be right there watching again. Because they do put on a good show. Navarro's excellent. I mean, look up Steve Perkins, man. Perkins is great.
Navarro still looks like he's 25 years old.
Yeah, right. Why is that? That's crazy, right?
I think he's a vampire.
Well, every time I think of Navarro, I kind of traumatized myself by it. He did a thing on TV. I don't know if it was MTV. This was years ago. And he was talking about, and he took you to, it might have been a show or something. Didn't he have a reality show?
He was married to Carmen.
Yeah.
Married with Carmen Electra or something. I forget what the name.
Yeah. And I think that was it. And he was talking on the show how he likes to get colonics and stuff. And he would go so often and get colonics and stuff. So like the show, he went to the doctor's office and he's like, all right, I'm getting my such and such annual or monthly colonic or whatever. And it's like, that's every time I hear him or see him, that's all I think about is him getting his ass washed out.
But you know what? Maybe that's why he's so look 25, dude.
Hey, you never know. Getting out all those bad toxins, man.
Maybe that's the secret, dude. Yeah, I think he was Carmen Electra's husband.
Dave Navarro's a weird guy, dude. He's the reason why he looks 25 is he probably wears a lot of makeup.
That too.
Yeah. But it's not just his face, dude. He fucking looks like he's got the body of a 25-year-old. He's thin as hell.
He gets everything in him washed out. You know, he ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing inside. I never heard that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably find something on YouTube with that part of the show, him going to get his colonic.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, I need to look this up, man. YouTube will have it.
I'll pass.
Yeah, YouTube has everything. You know? But yeah, every time I see him, that's all I think about. When I watch it on Ink Master, that's all I can think about. Went from playing the guitar to playing the big old tube. The tuba.
The tuba. Colonic tuba.
Didn't think it was going to go that way, right? Honey?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
We're talking colonic.
Hit the old curveball.
To the Philharmonic, the Phil Colonic.
I got my first one at 50, so.
Colonoscopy or a colonic?
What is it? What is it when they do it when you're 50? Is it colonoscopy?
That's
Yeah.
the colonoscopy.
Yeah, when they do the colonic, they just flush your ass out, right?
Yeah, they wash you out, man. They shoot water up you and
Water, right? It's like a freaking, like if you're getting your engine clean, right?
yeah, they blast all that crap right up. You know, they say.
Barry, you listen to this? This is new lyric material for you.
I got a PhD. They say you can lose up to like 20, 25 pounds just in one session.
You're kidding.
And it takes all that stuff that's lining your intestines and everything, and it breaks it loose from your intestine walls and everything. And yeah, 20, 25 pounds or something like that.
Maybe that's what he does. There you go.
There you go.
I'm almost to that point. I'm getting pretty thick here. I might have to go get me a couple of them.
All right. Well,
anyways,
without a doubt, this album was a great album.
Very good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
It was a blast talking about Jane's Addiction.
Yes.
I can't believe how much fun I had talking about them. It meant a lot. It meant a lot.
So Jim will be joining us again in a month, I believe, for episode 3, and he has narrowed it down to 2 albums. Did you make a pick? Do you want to announce it or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna, like I told Raul, I'm gonna get that curveball, man. I'm gonna do something completely different.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go with Hank Williams III, Straight to Hell.
All right.
Nice.
I need to write it down.
That album is like in my top 5, and like you with Jane's Addiction, I've done some bad stuff back in my youth while listening to this stuff. I've tried to live it, love it. Yeah, it's a great album, man. I definitely would give you guys something that you probably wouldn't normally listen to and just give it a good listen, because I think there's some certain songs in there that would be a great conversation piece that I think y'all would get a kick out of.
Which album did you say it was?
Straight to Hell.
Okay. Nice.
All right. Again, I've never heard any of Hank 3 at all.
His first 2, Straight to Hell is his 3rd album. His first 2 albums are great. You know, they're more like him getting into the business, you know, because he's the grandson of Hank Williams.
Right.
So he was doing more traditional honky tonk type stuff, which is awesome because it was great stuff. And some of his people who influenced him as far as that he done songs on those albums, you know, he brought to the limelight to me, and I found out about these other country singers and stuff like that. Just amazing, you know, and I would never heard about them unless, you know, but he started slowly after once the 3rd one, Straight to Hell, came out. After that, he kind of slowly started going from hillbilly to hellbilly. And that's like his term that he come up with, hellbilly. But yeah, some of his last couple albums or whatever like that, it's like they're not even country anymore. Once he got cut from his or he finished his contract with Curb Records, and one of the last album he did, he even pretty much said it on one of the songs, you know, I'm effing done with Curb Records or whatever, see you later, blah blah blah. But yeah, he kind of did his own thing after that and kind of went off the deep end a little bit. But now he has a son out that's getting ready to drop his first album, Hank 4.
Oh, wow.
Wow. He looks just like his grandfather.
Yeah.
That is
Sounds
crazy.
like too. Sounds just like him. And like I said, if you listen to the first 2 albums, you kind of hear that sorrow and woe and that whine, and like Hank Sr. had, he kind of has that. but his, he gets a little raspier because smoking and drinking and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's good stuff. Straight to Hell is an amazing album, man. Amazing.
Yeah, man, dude. This is pretty interesting. I'm down to dive into this. Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
And with it being, like I said, I'm sure you guys haven't done any country albums yet, and this was to me something to change the pace, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That works for me.
Just if you listen to the album, I wouldn't recommend drinking because you'll end up
Drunk.
going. Then you get rowdy and want to fight, and so be responsible.
Stay away from the clear alcohol.
Be responsible.
All right, there you have it. So episode 3, Jim will be back with us, and I want to thank him for accepting the invitation.
No, thank you for having me, man. This has been absolutely awesome. Man, I've had the most fun tonight than I've had in a long time, man. This is great.
Good. That's the purpose of the show. Other than bringing in different albums that one or all of us may not have heard before. I know Hialeah has been introduced to quite a few that he hasn't heard before, and
That I've never heard of. It's quite a few of them.
I think this is the first one for me that I haven't ever heard. Period. I haven't heard anything from him at all.
Finally, Donnie. Finally.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, finally, yeah.
It only took
Hey,
11
I got all kinds of music that's unknown and unheard that's amazing, that I could introduce, But I like I said, I wanted to do something that was a little extra different, so that's why I picked Hank 3's Straight to Hell.
Excellent. I can't wait to dive into it.
Yes. In 2 weeks, we're going to do an album that Javi picked, and that's Led Zeppelin 3. And I'm kind of excited to do that one because that's my favorite. If I had to pick one, that's my favorite Led Zeppelin album.
Is that the one that has Barnyard Stomp on it?
I think so.
Is it Barnyard Stomp?
I used to have that album back in the day, and
That's the one that has like the white background cover with all the different art on it.
Yeah,
The one that Jimmy Page hates.
Yeah, it's Barnyard. Yeah, Barnyard Stomp is on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's a great song.
Barnyard Stomp.
Yeah, Barnyard Stomp. Yeah.
Hey, I found the name of that band it's the New Fast Automatic Daffodils.
That's a hell of a name.
Yeah, it's a hell of a freaking name.
Do they have an acronym, or is that what they go by?
I just looked them up real fast. They were only till 85, till 95, so they weren't around too long. 88 to 95, and I think that's what they went by, the New Fast Automatic Daffodils. So maybe I'll pick that up in the future. Maybe not. I'm not going to waste my pick on that one, but I enjoyed it.
But I have a new idea, and I should have said something to you guys before we jumped on, but just a second. It's all good. It's all good.
I think I know what he's doing.
I
Yes.
picked this book up. It's from Classic Rock Magazine, or is it Classic Rock Magazine? I'm not sure, but it's the top 100.
That's a great idea. Just go down the list.
Well, I was thinking about either having someone pick a number or having the panel pick numbers, and maybe the chat pick numbers and randomize it. And if we've done it before, because Hialeah, guess what number 1 is in this?
Songs in the Key of Life. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
That's number 1.
And there's also a section that is albums that just didn't make the cut.
Oh, nice.
for the top 100. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Definitely.
But there's some albums we want to do first, so that may or may not be until season 3. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that'll be season 3, right? Well,
Yeah,
that's perfect. It works out.
because I desperately want to do Surfer Rosa.
Sounds good.
But so again, thanks for everybody who stopped by and who watches it on the rewind. Definitely check this album out. It's just a phenomenal album, and don't get scared away by maybe the overplay of Jane Says, because the rest of this album is just
Nothing like it. Yeah.
Again, it's a hidden gem, and I don't think Hialeah can express that enough.
They meant a lot to me.
Yes.
Soundtrack of my favorite one. Perkins or that's a lot.
What do we got? I'm gonna highlight you guys, and you can say whatever you guys got going on.
Hey,
Hey,
I don't have a lot going on, but I will be dropping a new CPC haul video. It'll be mainly bronze, one copper book, bronze, and silver. I might drop it tomorrow, maybe Monday. That's about it. We do have Behind the Comics in 2 weeks, May 5th, and our guest will be a Simply Incredible podcast, The Geek.
nice.
So look out for that. But other than that, let's need to get things.
All right, Javi, what you got going on?
Yo, taking a little break, been off of YouTube for a little bit, but I believe May 6th, in 2 weeks from now, on a Thursday, May 6th, we'll be back on the Start Me Up show, and I'll also be on with Hialeah on Behind the Comics. So check that out as well.
Jim, what do you got going on?
I don't have a whole lot going on either. I just finished my room, so I'm going to try to get back into making some more videos. Other than that, I'm just going to kind of hang around and see what happens.
Nice, man.
Use my tattoo over here, you know.
Nice, I like it.
Put it right there.
I got my chin.
Dude, that picture is horrible, man. Look like I got stung on the side of the face.
You look like a zombie. You look like you're asleep or something. And it's a variant. Just close your name. It's a variant card.
Yeah, variant.
It's a variant card.
It's an error variant. I spelled my name wrong.
Oh.
It's an error.
All right. For me, Hialeah, Javi, and Jim, thank you, and go out and listen to music.